In 2001, a US patent was filed that sounds like something straight out of the X-Files. A real inventor, with a real application, claiming they could teach humans to walk through solid walls. The method? It involved controlled breathing, pacing steps, and entering an altered state of consciousness using, get this, hyperspace energy fields. Not a joke. This document was submitted, reviewed, and published in the US Patent Archive. One part fringe science, one part government curiosity, and one very weird public record. What else is buried in the archives? Welcome to the Patent Files. So, what exactly is this thing? Officially, it's a United States patent filed in 2001, publicly available, and as real as any invention in the database. And here's the twist. In the US, you don't need to prove something works to patent it. You just need to explain it well enough that someone could reproduce it. And explain it? They did. This isn't your average gadget blueprint. This thing reads like metaphysical science fiction, meets quantum theory, meets a PowerPoint from another dimension. The author lays out an entire system built on the belief that humans are hyperspace energy beings, living in water-based bodies, tuned to 7 energetic vortices that connect to other dimensions. And if you know how to train these vortices properly, you can, allegedly, pull yourself out of our dimension entirely, walk through solid doors, talk to distant entities, maybe even levitate. One of the most fascinating parts? The patent cites historical evidence, including a 16th century Dominican friar named San Martin de Porres, who was said to have walked through doors just like this. Yeah, this isn't your average how to use a wrench type of document. According to this patent, you're not just a physical body. You're a hyperspace energy being, living inside a container made mostly of water. And that water? That's what gives you the potential to phase in and out of this dimension. The author outlines 7 spinning energy vortices, each one acting like a hyperspace portal, linked to its own dimension with a specific frequency. At the top of the head sits the mind vortex, your hyperspace antenna. This vortex allegedly lets you mentally communicate with other entities, even across galaxies. Then there's the spiritual eye, described as a hollow, misty cone that can be projected outward to remote view across great distances. This vortex allows your voice and hearing to extend just like the eye, letting you allegedly speak to others across space, without a phone. The heart vortex protects your chest, arms, and hands, sort of like a hyperspace shield for your upper body. This one shields the gut, covering your liver, kidneys, and intestines. This is where it gets wild. The plasma energy ball, an orange orb, said to power your body when your spirit leaves it. Remove it, and the body allegedly goes paralyzed. And it's even linked to the creation of something called the astral energy baby. Finally, the ground vortex, which spins in reverse, keeping you anchored like an electrical circuit. Together, these 7 vortex points form a complex energetic system, each feeding its own hyperspace module. The claim? If you learn how to control these modules, you can reshape how your energy flows and possibly step out of physical space altogether. So now that you've got your hyperspace battery and spinning vortices, the next step is simple. Learn how to walk. But not just any walking. This is precision-calibrated, vortex-generating, physics-defying walking. The patent calls it a training system, and it's centered around a very specific, cross-handed walking pattern. Here's how it works. Input your weight, shoe size, and desired walking time into a custom computer program. It then prints out a long banner, like a treadmill on paper, showing exactly where your feet should land, every single second. Then, with your arms crossed in front of your chest, 1 footstep per beep, you walk the walk. Do it correctly, and after just 6 strides, a massive spinning vortex is said to form above your head, locking onto your heart vortex. This isn't metaphor. It's described as a literal energy structure, fueled by the momentum of your walking body and the arrangement of your hands. The hands crossed in an X create a rotating energy loop around your torso. Combine that with perfect stride momentum, and the vortex allegedly begins to pull you out of dimensional phase. The creator even claims this technique caused him to yawn uncontrollably during testing, from an overload of melatonin in the pineal gland. And it's not just theory. He says he walked this banner in parks and long hallways. When his walking rhythm synced just right, a vertical white line would appear beside him, locking onto his body like some invisible cosmic GPS. Speed up or slow down, and the line breaks off. But hit the perfect cadence, you're in the zone. Now, if you thought this was just spiritual mumbo-jumbo, buckle up. Because the inventor doesn't stop at metaphysics. He pulls out math, molecules, and Einstein's equations to back it up. Here's the idea. Your body is made of 67% water, and a single water molecule, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen, has just the right mass to place it on the boundary between our dimension and something called the Planck box. In quantum physics, the Planck scale is where the laws of the universe start getting weird. Particles act like waves, space might be pixelated, and the rules of time and distance break down. According to the patent, the energy of a water molecule, when multiplied by the speed of light squared, matches the energy threshold needed to leave our dimension. So your watery body is already straddling the line between space and hyperspace, and with just a small boost of energy, it might pop out entirely. He visualizes it as momentum, mass times velocity. When you walk at the correct pace, you generate the exact amount of energy to push the water molecules in your body beyond the Planck edge. That moment, when mass, stride, and frequency align, is when the hyperspace vortex activates. It's a wild theory, but internally consistent. From quantum constants, to Avogadro's number, to logarithmic plots. The whole thing is laid out like a galactic IKEA manual for dimensional escape. In other words, don't just walk scientifically. Now, just when you think this patent couldn't get stranger, it brings in a 16th century Dominican friar named San Martin de Porres. According to witnesses, San Martin didn't just preach and heal, he apparently had a talent for phasing through solid doors. In one documented case, a friar watched him leave the cell with medicine, waited at the door, and later saw San Martin appear behind him, walking through the solid wall. Without opening the door, the patent uses this as historical support, arguing that San Martin had somehow trained his body to walk out of phase. Same stride, same vortex, same results. He even links San Martin's arm position, crossed in an X, to the same hand vortex formation used in the training system. So, where does this leave us? We've got an inventor who claims he created a method for walking through walls, backed by physics equations, mystical energy systems, and saintly teleportation stories. Does any of it hold up under scrutiny? Not by mainstream science. There's no peer-reviewed research, no empirical proof, just diagrams, philosophy, and personal stories. And yet, it's oddly compelling. The math is clean, the story is coherent. It's not thrown together. It's designed like a spiritual physics thesis disguised as a patent. Maybe it's all metaphor. Maybe it's performance art. Or maybe it's a roadmap to something we don't understand yet. At the very least, it's a reminder that imagination and invention often walk the same path, even if that path is printed on a banner and leads straight through a wooden door. So, would you walk the walk? Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more strange tech, forgotten science, and visionary patents.